Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You sent us quite a pile of sources this time, all about Pragmatic Play's newest live game show, Money Time. Lots of player data, analyst takes, and it seems like the classic situation, doesn't it? Flashy new game, big potential wins, and boom, everyone's instantly scrutinizing the history, hourly results, daily, weekly, trying to find an edge, some kind of pattern.
Yeah, absolutely. So our mission today really is to cut through all that noise. We want to quickly pinpoint the core mechanics of money time, analyze if tracking stats actually give you any short-term predictive power, and, well, the data is pretty clear on that. And crucially, we want to show you where the real potential for big wins comes from structurally, so you're informed, you're strategic, without getting bogged down in endless numbers.
Okay, let's lay the groundwork first. Money Time launched September 2025. It's got this big 54-segment wheel. And on that wheel, you've got 4 number bets, 1, 2, 5, and 10, plus 4 different bonus games. And the big number everyone quotes, the theoretical RTP, is 96.56%. Pretty high.
It is high, yeah. And that number itself hints at where the risk and reward lies.
All right, let's get right into it then. Before we break down the wheel segments and probabilities, what's the one thing, the core feature, that really makes this game stand out from other wheel shows?
Okay, so the absolute key, the thing you have to understand, is the bet spot booster system. It's revolutionary because of its frequency. This isn't some rare event. It happens before every single spin. The game randomly picks one betting spot, could be a number, could be a bonus, and slaps a multiplier on it. Anything from 2x up to 50x.
50 times.
Right.
Just randomly assigned before the spin.
Exactly. And if the wheel lands on that spot and you've bet on it, your payout gets multiplied by that booster.
Wow, okay, so that changes the whole dynamic. That 96.56% RTP isn't coming from steady, predictable wins then.
Not at all. It leans heavily, almost entirely, on the extreme volatility injected by that booster. Think about it, a standard 10x segment win. Okay, but if that 10x segment had a 50x booster, suddenly that's a 500x payout.
Right, and that 50x potential on any round kind of levels the playing field in a weird way. Even the most common segment, the 1x.
Can suddenly become a 50x win, exactly. And importantly, for the bonus games, that booster applies to the final payout from the bonus round itself. That's how you get to these headline figures, like the theoretical max of 40,000x.
40,000 times, that's massive volatility right there.
It is pure dynamic randomness baked into every single round. But, as the sources show, that kind of randomness makes people desperate for some kind of certainty. Which leads us neatly into the next point. Faced with this, what do players do? They start tracking, meticulously noting down every result, trying to predict what's next. The classic gambler's fallacy, really. But we dug into the data they gathered.
So what did you find? Did all this tracking actually reveal any useful patterns, any short-term edge someone could actually, use? Or is this just us busting a myth?
Well, it's a bit nuanced, but the conclusion is pretty stark. Looking at really short windows, like just 1 hour of gameplay, yes, the actual results did sometimes deviate from what the pure math would suggest.
Right.
We saw examples where, say, the rarest bonus, the money time segment, actually hit more often in that single hour than its 1.85% probability says it should. And that, you can imagine, feels like confirmation to someone tracking.
Oh, hold on. If the rarest thing spikes like that in an hour, isn't that useful? Couldn't you jump in during that hour and profit? Why dismiss that finding?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? But here's the catch, and it's crucial. That short-term blip, it's just statistical noise, random variation. And it's always, always followed by regression to the mean. The really telling data point is this. Stretch that observation period out to just 24 hours, just one day. And suddenly, the actual results snap back incredibly close to the theoretical probabilities. The game is basically designed to converge quickly, over a week or a month. The results are almost perfectly smooth, right where the math says they should be. The house edge always asserts itself.
Okay, so the big takeaway for you, the listener, is crystal clear then. That hour-long anomaly, don't chase it. It's like trying to time the stock market based on random ticks. The statistics are pretty brutal here. Each spin is independent, random. Trying to use past results to time future bets is, frankly, a fool's errand. Focus on understanding the structure of the payouts, not the illusion of timing.
Exactly. Structure, not timing.
And understanding that structure naturally brings us to the 4 bonus games. Because, let's be honest, that's where the path to the really life-changing payouts lies. But as you pointed out, they're very different beasts.
Very different. They vary hugely in how often they hit, and maybe more interestingly, in their average payout potential when they do hit. So strategy isn't about when you bet, it's about where you allocate your bets based on risk appetite. Generally, reward potential lines up with rarity, as you'd expect. But there's one little quirk in there we need to look at. Let's start with the workhorse. Cash roll. It's on 4 segments, so it has a 7.41% chance of hitting. It's the most common bonus, the most accessible. Quick dice roll briefcase thing. Pretty straightforward. Its average base multiplier that's before any bet spot booster is around 13.1x. Think of it as the entry-level bonus feature.
Okay, decent frequency, modest average reward. Makes sense. What's next?
Next up, we have a pair with identical rarity. First is Bank Heist. This one's on 2 segments, so 3.70% probability. This is the bonus associated with that huge theoretical 40,000x max payout. It uses a sort of bingo mechanic with safe deposit boxes. Its average base multiplier, though, is 28x. Remember that number, 28x.
Okay, 2 segments, 3.70% chance, 28x average base, but it holds the keys to the absolute maximum theoretical price.
Got it. Now, compare that directly to Coin Rush. It has the exact same rarity, 2 segments, 3.70% probability. This bonus uses an 8x8 grid of coins, and importantly, it involves player choice. But here's the fascinating part. Its average base multiplier is significantly higher than Bank Heist's. It sits at 45x.
Wait, hang on. Same rarity, 3.70% chance for both. But Coin Rush averages 45x, while Bank Heist averages 28x. Why the big difference?
That's the key structural insight. It strongly suggests that the mechanics within Coin Rush, maybe that player choice element on the grid, lead to consistently better average outcomes. It doesn't have that single astronomical 40,000x theoretical ceiling like Bank Heist, but if you're looking purely at the average multiplier you get when you hit one of these rarer bonuses, Coin Rush is structurally superior to Bank Heist on average, despite the identical frequency.
That's a really important distinction for strategy.
Very. And finally, we arrive at the rarest of them all, the Signature Money Time bonus. Only 1 segment on the whole wheel. That's just a 1.85% probability. This one involves colored reels, accumulating multipliers, maybe some respins. Because it's so incredibly rare, the game has to compensate, and it does. It delivers the highest average base payout of all bonuses, a whopping 77x.
Wow, 77x average. So the trade-off is clear. You'll barely ever see it, but when you do, the average starting point is much higher. Okay, so summarizing the bonuses. Cash roll for frequency, Bank Heist for the moonshot max potential, Coin Rush for surprisingly high average payout given its rarity, and Money Time for the highest average but rarest hit.
Precisely. Your betting strategy on the bonuses depends entirely on which of those profiles you prefer.
Right, let's shift gears slightly to Section 4. We've talked theory, structure, probabilities, but what about actual recorded wins? The game's new, so the history is limited, but what are we actually seeing in terms of significant payouts? Need to manage expectations here beyond that 40,000x number.
Yeah, managing expectations is key. The early recorded wins absolutely confirm what we suspected. The big hits require stacking features. You need a high potential bonus and a strong bet spot booster hitting at the same time. We saw examples in the source data like a 2,850x win. That came from hitting the Bank Heist bonus when it also had the maximum 50x booster applied.
Okay, so bonus plus max booster. Makes sense.
Another significant one was 1,650x. That was the result of hitting the rare Money Time bonus, combined with a still very respectable 25x booster.
That really helps put that theoretical 40,000x into perspective, doesn't it? To even get close to that, you'd need the absolute maximum 50x booster to land on Bank Heist, and then you'd need the absolute luckiest possible outcome within the Bank Heist bonus itself. An incredibly rare combination of events.
Exactly. The wins people are actually recording, the significant ones, seem to be landing more realistically in the, say, 100x to maybe 3,000x range, which is still massive, don't get me wrong, but it highlights the difference between the absolute ceiling and the practical potential.
A crucial gap for anyone playing to understand. Play for the likely potential, not the extreme outlier.
That's the strategic takeaway. Focus on that 100x to 3000x range as the more achievable target for significant wins through feature stacking.
Okay, let's synthesize this quickly for you. The bottom line from all this analysis, forget trying to time the game based on past results. The stats show results converge way too fast for that to be a viable strategy. Your focus needs to be squarely on understanding the game's structure.
Right. And your strategy then comes down to a conscious risk-reward choice. Are you going for consistency? Maybe focus on the number segments, especially segment 1. It hits almost half the time, 46.3%. Maximize your chances of catching any win amplified by a big booster. Or are you aiming higher? Targeting those rare bonus segments, knowing they hit less often but offer bigger base potential, especially Money Time with its 77x average, or maybe Coin Rush with that surprisingly high 45x average.
It's about choosing your volatility level, essentially. Okay, one final thought for you to mull over, building on everything we've discussed. We highlighted how that BetSpot booster system means any segment, even the humble 1x segment, can suddenly pay out 50x. So how does that guaranteed dynamic volatility on every spin, affecting even the lowest value bets, fundamentally change the risk profile compared to older wheel games where a 1x segment always just paid 1x? Think about it. Even the safest seeming bet now carries this inherent high variance potential, both for risk and reward. How does that shift your approach to betting across the board? Something to consider.